All right, welcome to the world. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the world's greatest wrestling podcast. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I need to amend our graphic. It's the world's greatest? Okay, all right.
Sorry. The greatest wrestling podcast. Oh, yes, when I'm talking, it's the world's greatest. But the greatest wrestling podcast ever. Joined by Amanda, joined by Donnie and Bodacious. Let's get to AEW Dynamite. Dynamite. What did y'all think of the Go Home show for Dynamite this week, leading into All Out?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for the pay-per-view. I hope I'll get to see it, but I don't know.
You get to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that kind of money to throw at a pay-per-view right now.
Get some people together, split the cost.
I can't do that. I can't.
Socially distance. It's all good.
I heard the reaction to Dynamite has been split. Some people praising it, loving it. Other people bashing it, thought they should have done a better job. I thought they did a perfect job getting me hyped for the pay-per-view. I mean, that's the only downside with the AEW. Like, people who watch, they want all out all the time, every week. But if they go all out on the show, the Go Home show, and risk injuring themselves, what are you going to have on Saturday?
It's true. I mean, there were
some really good matches, though, this week, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the longest time, I thought the Santana and Ortiz and Best Friends feud was going to end up on All Out. And then for it to be on an episode of Dynamite, that's amazing. That's a pay-per-view quality match. And it was a really good match. I liked it.
Yep. And it started off with the Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz.
Sorry, there's still under there. My bad.
Said you loved it, so that's all that matters.
Sorry about that.
No, that was a good segue into it. I mean,
it's true.
I was like, how are we going to jump into Dynamite recap? There you go.
That's right. Already.
What did you guys think?
I thought it was good, but I thought it should have been part of the pre-show.
Yeah.
But
right.
We'll get to that later on as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What did you think of the following match? The 8-man tag match, the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express versus SCU Private Party, with the winning team facing each other all out.
Wait.
No.
What about that MJF promo? Wasn't that before that?
I don't think so.
No. I thought the MJF promo was next. Maybe it was after, but okay. Either way, that that was a really good match. That was a really good 8-man tag match. I thought it was really interesting that the Bucks were acting heels.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. Over in New Japan, Bullet Club were the heels. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were the heel. And it's like they're just heels that people start cheering for. But I don't think they've ever truly been faces. But yes, it's nice they're bringing their more heelish side back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but the entire time in AEW, they have come out and entered from the right entrance. But this time, they entered from the right entrance, but they left from the heel entrance. So, yeah, I think that things are changing.
I find it interesting that they're going the heel route when Adam Page is the one that did the heel move of screwing them over in the middle of a match.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it's a situation where, you burn me, so I'm gonna be, I'm gonna change my attitude about trusting people.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, you're burned by your, by one of your, best friends for a long time. It's, it changes the way people look at things. So, it's possible that, the people, the fun-loving people, are no longer, the Can't come up
Are you
with the
talking
words
about
right
like when
now.
Jericho went from Y2J to the suit wearing guy back in WWE? So we're saying like they're gonna change their persona to be less flamboyant,
Out for
and
themselves.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking
what
of Jericho, I'm wearing this Guns N' Roses shirt. Like, oh yeah, I need to get the Inner Circle version. That's gonna be my
slobber knocker.
Yeah, Young Bucks and Jurassic Express won. Me making that match official at All Out on Saturday. Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. It sounded like it was for an. I don't know what kind of match it's gonna be. And then followed up by Chris Jericho versus Joey Janela, with Chris singing a message to Mr. Orange Cassidy. What do y'all think?
Well, you knew who was going to win the match.
Oh yeah, we all knew that. What do you think about the beatdown at the end of the match when he makes him bleed and takes that blood and rubs it on his Orange Cassidy shirt over Orange Cassidy's face?
Oh man, there's
That was a nice touch.
yeah. There's so much blood in AEW these like compared to the WWE product, so it makes it seem like it's just so much more realistic than what the WWE program puts on. Because I mean, like you can watch somebody get beat down and beat down and beat down, and they're you're supposed to think that they wouldn't be bloodied at any point. Like,
what you mean, getting hit in the head by a barbed wire bat would cause you to bleed?
who would have thought?
I totally agree with what Adani was saying there. But also, if you hear the promos in AEW versus the WWE ones, like MJF would be fired for threatening to throw somebody into a wood chipper on WWE.
I love that segment. Like, man, this guy could be a mob boss in a movie. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Like it totally was on point with what he was trying to get at, which was that he'll do whatever it takes to win. He's willing to throw his own guy into a wood chipper. Like, okay.
Start giving him a nickname, Chippy.
That's rough.
Yeah. Imagine that match.
The wood chipper match. You throw your opponent into a wood chipper to win.
I mean, if they're gonna have a Mimosa Mayhem match, why not? It's a cinematic match. Somebody's leaving the company. Just
they'd have to like walk around with like they'd have to like get like it would be their arm only, and then they would have to get like cybernetics put on it. So it's like they'd be using a metal arm instead of a real arm. Now that would actually be pretty cool. I don't know if they how that would swing on.
How would you follow that up? Because they can come out the next night with one arm. They have to.
Are we giving them ideas right now? Is Matt Hardy like at home writing this down? Like, man, the greatest wrestling podcast. These guys are geniuses.
So they can get like a famous one-armed wrestler, but then give him a fake arm, and then build up to the wood chipper match.
Give him a fake arm.
I was halfway tempted to say Samuel was going to win because Matt Hardy was literally going to kill himself in the match. He would come back as like a masked wrestler or something.
Jeez. Wow.
Where do we go from here, guys?
Match in a while since COVID. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. I don't know what it would take, but in my opinion, they need to sign both of those women. What do you think of the match? I'm kind of leaning towards Thunder Rosa might end up winning the title because it would be good publicity of her being a real double champion of two different organizations. Thunder Rosa, actually, she already owns 2 belts. She would be Thunder Rosa 3 belts.
No, I don't think she should win. I think AEW needs to build their own brand women anyway. So if you have another brand's woman come in and beat your champion when your women's division has already looked as as your weak link, it's not going to look good.
Well, think about it. If she wins a championship, that means she can wrestle with them more often, and so that gives you two really good women wrestlers. Actually, more than two. That gives you that many more women wrestlers who are actually good to help the other women on the roster, and it also gives a story for Hikaru Shida to build back up to. Because right now, after Thunder Rosa, who else she have? Versus if you give it Thunder Rosa, she has to battle against all the other women to rise back up to the top to challenge the next pay-per-view again when there's more fans available.
I don't know. Let's say it's kind of like it's kind of like that double-edged sword situation. Like it's kind of it's not a perfect. There's not a perfect booking you can do in this scenario because somebody is going to look at it the wrong way regardless of what happens.
I think everybody would be fine if the NWA champion wins it. Just like if Nick Aldis came in against Cody title for title, people would be rooting for Nick Aldis to win both, be a double champion.
I have a feeling that the NWA is not going to be around for a while, and that's why their people are free to go wherever they need to. And I feel like there's some kind of an agreement there where they're letting their people work there. And I think that she's already under some kind of a contract to be there. So I feel like she really could stand a good chance of winning.
Possible.
I mean, Kingston's under contract now.
Yep. And what's his name? Wade Barrett. Sound like he's finalizing his deal with WWE. No, I think he did finalize it to be their full-time commentator.
On a different program.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Different bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, and next up, John Moxley versus Chippy. What did y'all think of that whole segment? Well, that ended the show. I thought it was entertaining. It was. I mean, I don't know what people actually expected from the lawyer. I mean, not a wrestler, so.
The match itself lasted longer than I thought it would, though.
Yeah, it did last longer than I thought it would. Mm-hmm. But I thought Wardlow was going to interfere way sooner than he did.
Yeah, for sure. It's always tricky. It's always tricky when you have a top-tier superstar in there with basically a non-wrestler, so to speak. It's always tricky because the top-tier superstar is never going to look good. Like it's like, so you just have to keep them from looking bad, and I think they did that, and I think it was well done for that purpose.
And it did its job of getting John Moxley to drop his guard to get double teamed by Wardlow and MJF and get busted open with the ring. Mm-hmm. But all right, did that give you hyped for All Out? Well, it's not Adam, but did that give you hype for All Out?
Yeah, as a whole, it did for me. Like, I'm more excited for MJF than I was before, but I was already pretty excited. I think he's got a really bright future, and yeah.
All right, let's talk about predictions for.
Did Donnie have anything to say? It looked like I cut him off.
No, you're good. I was just I was gonna mention something, but yeah, I mean, you pretty much. I agree with you on MJF for sure.
All right, let's talk about the predictions for Saturday's All Out. All right. First up, we don't know the order, so I'm just going to read them based on we took a pre-poll, and let's just I'm just going to go down the poll based on how they're showing up. The Mimosa Mayhem match, Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. Who do you all have?
I went Orange Cassidy.
You went Orange Cassidy. What about you, Bodacious?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a freshly squeezed evening.
I'm thinking Orange Cassidy as well.
I mean, the tagline for the match is freshly squeezed.
Next up, the Tag Team Championship. FTR versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. What do you think of Donnie?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be FTR.
What about you, Bodacious?
Yep, FTR.
I'm thinking FTR too, but I'm also kind of leaning towards a surprising win by Kenny Omega and Adam Page.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I anticipate the Adam Page just walking out and leaving Kenny by himself. Like that, that's what I anticipate happening.
And I anticipate the opposite of that happening based on what I saw the other night. Yeah, based on what I saw the other night, I feel like it's all a swerve, and Paige was really just drunk the other night and offended by some other kind of stuff that you'll find out really had nothing to do with nothing, and he was just drunk. And I really think that the real heel here is Omega. Yeah, he's going to be the cleaner.
All right. What about the AEW World Championship? MJF or Jon Moxley? Donnie.
I'm still pretty split on this one, so I'm gonna have to go with who I want to win, I guess, and I want MJF to win.
But you, Bodacious?
I want MJF to win, but I'm voting Moxley because the booker in me says, based on everything that I've seen, Moxley is going to win. And what I see going to the future, where I think the next pay-per-view will be Moxley versus Omega, but yeah, Moxley.
See, originally I was going to say Moxley until I heard his interview on Busted Open earlier this week. And like I said, his wording when he's talking about life after the championship, he said eventually he's going to lose it. And when he does, he's thinking about he wants to switch over to tag team because he hasn't really done much tag team. He found that fun, and they were discussing who he thinks the best tag team partner was, and everyone kept pointing out the wording he was used, kept referring to after he loses the title, which has everyone thinking he might actually drop it to MJF. I mean, who better to drop it to right now than MJF, who's undefeated in singles? So because of that reason alone, I going with MJF.
And I feel like you're correct in what you've heard. However, I would just say that it might be long term. Now, where Omega, just in my mind, if I was the booker and I was going, okay, look, we're finally going to pull the trigger on the cleaner. So you're going to be the cleaner, and you're going to go against Moxley at the next pay-per-view. So boom, there it is. Now you got to start building towards that. Moxley, you are going to drop the belt to him here. So what do you want to do afterwards? Tag team, great. You got 3 months to figure out who you want as your tag team partner. Let's do it.
For me, it was also the fact over the past month, they kept making a big deal about Jon Moxley passing up Chris Jericho and becoming the longest reigning champion so far at 187 or 88 days now. Mm-hmm. And they keep pointing out that how long his reign has been. Maybe it is time to drop it.
Yes.
The crazy thing is I'm just a lot of times when you're talking about how long somebody's held a championship, it's almost written on the wall that they're going to drop it the next time they defend it.
I hear you guys, but when is the last time you saw a go-home show where somebody gets beat down that bad and they don't win at the pay-per-view?
You're thinking WWE logic. You got to remember, this is WWE.
Well, even New Japan.
Yeah, I know.
Even New Japan.
But they're going out of the way
I know that everybody else. I know they're really smart, and so they might be able to swerve or something. And I really hope that MJF does win, but the wrestling mind in me says Moxley is going to win.
And then if you also think about the fact the cards are stacked against Moxley so much, he can't use his finisher. And then he has MJF, who has Wardlow, is probably going to be at the ringside. And they have that ring, they're going to sneak in there and try using on him. And MJF's undefeated. I'm guessing the lawyer's probably going to be out there too. If Moxley has no one.
Yeah, I'm surprised the lawyer's not like in a shark cage or something.
All right, the next match. AEW Women's Championship. Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida. Who do you have, Adani?
Shida.
What about you, Bodacious?
Thunder Rosa, a real champion.
I say Thunder Rosa as well, and Greg talked about that earlier.
That's right. We did talk about that earlier.
Great promotion for both companies.
He was like,
double champion. All right.
Whipping your head around like a member of the nation. What's up?
Next matchup: 8-man tag team match. Dark Order versus the Natural Nightmare, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona.
Wait, who? Oh, never mind. I heard it.
This is one of those, like, I don't, this match really feels unimportant. So, like, it's hard for...
It should have been on the pre-show. It might end up being on the pre-show.
It's hard to make a decision on matches that are unimportant. And so, like, I just decided I'm going to go with the Dark Order. At least that's my decision right now. It's just, win or lose, nobody's going to look bad after the end of this match.
What about you, Bodacious?
I've been going back and forth on this one. It's like Matt Cardona's first big pay-per-view match, but the Dark Order have been on a roll. I'm gonna go Dark Order.
Dark Order has been on a roll, but I did forget about the fact this is Matt Cardona's first pay-per-view, and Scorpio Sky's been on a losing streak, and they both could use the win. So I'm actually changing mine from Dark Order to Matt Cardona and Scorpio Sky.
And I know I did the right thing.
Do you now?
Not really. I mean, I was like, I'm back and forth.
All right.
Bodacious just baited Manosk. He's baiting him.
All right. The 21-man Casino Battle Royal for the championship opportunity. Last year's winner was, well, not last year. Double or Nothing winner was Brian Cage, who won and ended up going up against John Moxley. That was at Revolution. He went to John Moxley at Double or Nothing. So Saturday's winners then go up against the champion at the next pay-per-view. So who do y'all have? There's a lot of people to choose from.
I went with
and some to be determined.
Yeah, I went Lance Archer because he's the only one that seems like he hasn't recently had a title match, and they talked him up like he'd be the next contender anyway, and he's got a great record, so it makes sense why they would book him in that position. If it's not him, I assume it's somebody new. That's kind of how I'm anticipating it.
What about you, Bodacious?
I was really tempted to say Kenny Omega pulls a surprise one and just enters the match. But I feel like that's going to be more of a slow burn, the 3-month thing that I was talking about. So I'm going to go with a guy that is actually totally defeated, hasn't won a match, and only comes out in promos with his group. But I'm going Eddie Kingston because I feel like he's got a lot going on for him, and it would be a good match, regardless of who the champion is.
Hey, I selected Lance Archer, but I think I might have changed mine to be determined because I just thought about the fact, they have announced everybody, and that person gets the automatic championship opportunity, and who better to change up his storyline and go up against MJF as champion than a returning Cody who comes in and wins it, and then now he can actually compete for the world championship and get his payback against MJF.
I thought you were about to say Brock Lesnar. I was like, what? I mean, you get an immediate championship match?
Cody. What? I'm thinking Cody makes a surprise entrance. It's supposed to be a surprise entrance, and he'll get that guaranteed title shot against the new champion MJF at the next pay-per-view.
I would not hate it, even though he said he wouldn't. It's wrestling.
Well, he wouldn't automatically get it, but if he wins that match, it's kind of a clause in the never competing for the championship.
It's not a bad little story there. I don't, I hope it happens, but I don't see it happening.
All right, let's rush to the last ones. the tag team match, Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express.
2 matches.
Donnie?
Young Bucks.
2 matches.
Bodacious?
Did you say this was the last match?
No.
Okay,
No, I'll say there's a couple more left. I was starting rushing through them.
Sorry about that. All right. He said Young Bucks?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going Jurassic Express. I feel like Omega's going to come out or somebody's going to come out and cost them the match.
I think you're right, but I'm still going to go with Young Bucks.
I feel like I'm dustying myself into a bad record here.
All right, next up, the what's probably going to be a cinematic match, the Broken Rules match, Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. If Matt Hardy loses, he's gone from AEW. Who do you have, Adani?
I mean, I'm voting with my heart. I choose Matt Hardy.
What about you, buddy?
Yeah, I changed my vote earlier to Matt Hardy, but I still feel very strongly that he's going to kill himself and Sammy will win.
I'm thinking Sammy's going to win it, and I think Matt Hardy's going to take some time off so more fans are back and probably return to his broken Matt or some other alter ego that he creates. All right, and the final match, which is the opening match on the pre-show, the Tooth and Nail cinematic match, Dr. Britt Baker versus Big Swole. Donnie, who do you got?
I'll go with Dr. Britt Baker because I can only assume that her first match back from injury wouldn't be a loss. But
what about you, Bodacious?
I don't like his logic there because I feel like her first match back from an injury with the way she's been acting would be a loss. So now I'm thinking about changing. Oh boy, you're making me contemplate my life here, Donnie. Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the role model, not the other channel's role model. I'm talking about Dr. Britt Baker.
All right, and I went with Big Swole. And that's our predictions for this week, All Out. And now for the question of the week from last week was
our pick of the week or
kudos of the week. Sure.
Yeah,
Adani.
That is an excellent question.
Bodacious.
Yeah.
I almost feel like rinse repeat every time I say MJF, and I really feel like he did really, really good. You know, the promo, the beatdown at the end, Cohen, saying he was going to throw him in the wood chipper. Yeah, you know what? I was about to change it last second, but no, MJF. That's my pick.
Adani?
Well, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. Just, it was a great hype for the match, for the Mimosa match. So we'll go with that.
And I'm going to go with the man who stood toe-to-toe on the microphone with the promo work. In my opinion, outdid them, Eddie Kingston. All right. And a question of the week from last week: who do you think would be the new 4 horsemen that they've been teasing in AEW? Let's start with Bodacious.
Why don't you guys go first?
Okay, Adam. Donnie.
So we're going 2 singles wrestlers with the tag team FTR. So let's do. It's tough because everyone's part of a stable already. So it's hard to find.
Stable's gonna be broken up.
People, yeah. That's the thing. Is stables are gonna need to be broken up to be able to make this work, I think. And I know y'all discussed it before. But I definitely see, the potential with Cody coming back and being part of that, and then of course, the obvious Adam Page is kind of the obvious choice for that last one.
All right, and for me, I think it's going to be Shawn Spears, FTR, and the cleaner Kenny Omega.
That's a swerve.
When he was in that ring doing that promo against them, I was like, wow, he actually fits. Because he's the greatest in the world. He's a former world champion. and he would go great with one of the greatest tag teams in the world. And then you have the up and comer Sean Spears. Like that actually fits perfect. Bodacious.
I'm torn between two different answers, and I thought one of y'all would have one of my two answers so that I could just cross it off, but you came really close, but none of y'all had either one of my answers.
Give us both.
I'm torn, but I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to say MJF and Wardlow. MJF is the Ric Flair, Wardlow is your enforcer, and then you got your tag team.
That's fair. I could take that.
But I was going to go Cody and Sean Spears because it just made sense that Arn Anderson and Tully were freaking the tag team, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, yeah, I'm going MJF and Wardlow as my pick.
All right, and I guess now it is Bodacious. Which one of y'all want to do the question for next week?
No, I have it. I got the question.
There you go.
Tony Khan said that Double or Nothing kicked the crap out of WrestleMania. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
Okay.
And even though that's not really pick some stuff, I feel like you could compare matches or the card, what have you, but I feel like we could have some really good stuff off of that.
All right, and we'll let Donnie close us out.
All right. Well, thank you for watching another episode of the greatest wrestling podcast ever, AEW edition. Please, if you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't to see when we will post the next video. Follow us on Twitter at TheGreatestWRE1. Follow us on Facebook at The Greatest Wrestling Podcast Ever or at Adani's Gamerspace. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.